So, Tyler Perry's Divorce in the Black. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Boomy. I am a content creator. I make music, I sometimes write, and I like watching a lot of movies and TV. So, we're gonna get into it. Yes, you see the title. So I've been watching Tyler Perry's films ever since I was a child. His plays, his TV shows. He's honestly been a part of my life and my friends' lives for a very, very long time. But recently, I think a lot of us have noticed that his films have been going from innovative to idle. I didn't want to use the word, but I thought it would be rude, but innovative to lazy. We've seen this with his recent films: Acrimony, starring Taraji P. Henson; A Fall from Grace, starring Crystal Fox and Felicia Rashad; Mea Culpa, starring Kelly Rowland; and now Divorce in the Black, starring Megan Good. The common critiques about Tyler Perry films are: his films look cheap, his films do not make any sense, there isn't any continuity, and it's always the same story about a sad, battered, and abused black woman. You see, I think these critiques are valid. Tyler Perry, not so much.
So you've got this highbrow Negro who is all up in the air with his nose up looking at everything. And then you got people like where I come from and me who are grinders who really know what it's like.
I'll talk about that later. Right now, I want to talk about Divorce in the Black and why, as a film, it just doesn't work. I also want to juxtapose this film with Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman. I think with this film, there are a lot of similarities you can make, and I point out the reasons on why it's just a way better film, and Divorce in the Black, not so much. I'm also going to be reading off my phone because, I don't have my glasses, I don't have my contacts on, I can't see, so it is what it is. So the first thing you see when you go to watch the movie is a description that Amazon have put on their website, and this description is not true to the movie at all. Ava, a young bank professional, is devastated when her husband Dallas abandons a marriage she is determined to fight for until fate intervenes, revealing Dallas's wicked deeds that have trashed their marriage, and once upon a time sabotage Ava's destiny to be loved by her true soulmate. First of all, this description is already so wrong. Ava is a young bank professional? Yeah, no, she's not that young, and the film focuses a lot on how she wasted her best years on her husband. Disclaimer, I'm not trying to say that she's not young, 40's not young, but the description is making it seem like she is 31 or 28, and that's simply not the case. Anyway, Ava, a young bank professional, is devastated when her husband Dallas abandons a marriage she is determined to fight for. She doesn't really fight for it like that. Maybe for 2-3 days she's just confused, until fate intervenes, revealing Dallas's wicked deeds that have trashed their marriage. Her friend gives her a list of things he did to her, and she's just like, oh my gosh, he did do that stuff to me. And once upon a time, sabotaged Ava's destiny to be loved by her true soulmate. It wasn't really sabotage. She knew he did bad things to people, and she still chose him. So I don't get it. Anyway, this description is definitely not true to the movie, so I'm gonna recap the movie and then I'll get back to this. The story opens in a black church in the South during the funeral of a man named Cody. Cody is a part of the Bertrand family, and that family is known for troublemaking and causing mayhem around the town. The family consists of their mother and now her 4 sons, including a man named Dallas. Cody was killed while attempting to rob an elderly woman who shot him in self-defense. A pastor is leading the service and bluntly tells the Bertrand family that now that their son is dead, he is in hell for all his sins. This statement enrages Dallas's mother and brothers. Feeling judged and insulted, Dallas's mother lashes out, accusing the congregation of thinking they're better than the Bertrands. She declares her hatred for the pastor, his wife, and his daughter Ava, who is married to her son Dallas. She yells about how they think Ava is the reason why her son is anything. but she says that's not true, then begins stripping off her clothes because they were given to her by Ava's family. In a shocking move, she orders Cody's brothers to take him out. At first, they prepare to move the casket, but she clarifies, no, take him out of the casket. The brothers comply, taking Cody's body out of the casket and placing it in the back of a truck, creating a disturbing and chaotic scene. After the funeral, the story reveals that Ava's parents, the preacher and the first lady, always opposed her marriage to Dallas. They married young, right out of high school, and her parents felt that Ava gave up her dreams of running track for him. Ava, however, has been deeply influenced by traditional beliefs, including those from the church, that emphasize sticking with a marriage no matter how bad it gets. She also admires her parents' long-lasting relationship and aspires to have the same, which drives her to keep fighting for her marriage despite the abuse. After that, Ava decides to find Dallas, who is at his family's trailer park, where they buried Cody in the front yard. She finds Dallas sitting in an old car he used to work on when they were kids, and she starts reminiscing about their past. But Dallas, drunk, grieving, and angry, accuses her of always trying to change him, saying that he doesn't want to hear all that mess and that he just buried his brother, which is true. He tells her that this is the last time he'll let her family embarrass him, pointing out how insensitive her father's sermon was. He orders her to get out the car. She does, and he heads to the pool hall. She follows him there, attempting to bring him back home. On her way out, she runs into Benji, an old high school friend. Dallas, still drunk and angry, tries to pick a fight with Benji, who is much taller than him. Dallas's brothers join in, but the owner of the pool hall intervenes and stops the altercation. Dallas then tries to drive home drunk, but is stopped by his brother, and Ava drives them both home. In the middle of the night, Ava finds Dallas drunk and semi-conscious on the bathroom floor, mumbling about being told to kill his dad. He then starts crying, saying he's no good and will never amount to anything. The next morning, he acts as if nothing happened and goes about his day as usual. Ava has a best friend named Rona, who is married to Dallas's best friend and lawyer, Jim. Ava and Rona carpool and work at the bank together. Rona often complains about Dallas's behavior, and Ava explains that she tolerates his abuse because she understands his struggles. After work, Ava returns home, and Dallas rushes her to get ready for a double date with Rona and Jim. Impatient, he leaves without her when she takes 15 to 20 minutes to get ready. At the restaurant, Rona notices Ava's absence and questions Dallas, who admits he left her behind because she was taking too long. When Ava arrives, Rona wants to confront Dallas about his behavior, but Ava insists they let it go. The evening turns sour when Dallas gets drunk and belligerent, yelling and demanding a divorce at the table. On the drive home with Rona, Ava is distraught, questioning what to do next, and talks about how she's almost 40 and believes no one will want her at that age. Rona tries to cheer her up and talks about the terrible things Dallas has said that have damaged Ava's self-esteem. Rona gives Ava a list of all the terrible things Dallas has done during their relationship and urges her to see in black and white that she's better off without him. Distraught over her impending divorce, Ava decides to visit her parents. Seeking comfort from her family, she is visibly shaken, feeling guilty and questioning her worth as a wife and a woman. She tells her parents about Dallas wanting a divorce, and they assure her that she shouldn't have been dealing with his behavior anyway. During her visit, Ava's mother finds the list of all the terrible things Dallas has done, revealing that he was abusive in many ways, including physical abuse. This discovery reinforces that Ava is better off without him. Though Ava's mom knew the relationship wasn't good, she didn't realize it was violent and abusive. She apologizes to Ava, saying she's sorry Ava felt that she had to endure such treatment and hopes she didn't teach her to believe she deserved it. They cry together, but Ava's mom insists she not tell her dad because he would likely try to harm Dallas. Now that Ava is newly separated from her husband, her parents are eager for her to start a new relationship even though she hasn't finalized a divorce. They suggest she get together with Benji, a tall farmer who frequently appears at the places that she visits. However, Ava, dealing with the trauma and needing time to heal, gets frustrated with her family for not recognizing her need for space. Her parents try to remind her of who she was before she dated Dallas. They were high school sweethearts, and Dallas was trouble even back then, as was his family. His mother even calls the scene at their wedding. Ava's dad points out that he set a good example of love in a healthy marriage, questioning why she felt she should accept anything less. After that, Ava runs into Benji at the state fair. They walk, talk, and listen to a beautiful, soulful country song. During their conversation, Benji shares that he used to get beaten up by the Bertrand boys for talking to Ava during her periodic breakups with Dallas. Benji eventually married another woman and had a child, but they divorced. Benji then offers his support in understanding Ava's situation. As they continue talking, Ava reveals that she has never made love with anybody else but Dallas and expresses a desire to try with Benji. Benji responds that when they make love, he wants her to be fully present and focused on him, not comparing him to Dallas. After drinking whiskey together, Ava sleeps in the back of Benji's truck, and when she wakes up, she realizes that Benji is right. She acknowledges that she needs to focus on herself and isn't ready to be with anyone else just yet. Word gets back to Dallas that Ava and Benji were seen together at the state fair. One of his brothers calls and tells him, "I told you she was always cheating," even though Ava didn't cheat. Furious, Dallas convinces himself that she did. He shows up at her job, demanding that she get a lawyer and sign the divorce papers immediately. Ronna tells him to get out and he leaves. The title of the movie, Divorce in the Black, is explained. Ava wants a clean break from Dallas without drawing out the process or seeking money. She doesn't want to lose anything emotionally either. She wants to end the marriage in the black. Ava arrives saying she doesn't need a lawyer and just wants it done. Dallas laughs, creating tension, and the papers are signed. After that, Ronna decides to throw Ava a happy divorce party. Benji comes to the party, but the celebration is dampened when Dallas shows up and parks outside Ronna's house. Jim, who is Dallas's friend, confronts him saying, "What are you doing here? You wanted a divorce," and Dallas claims Ava was cheating on him, but Jim insists that she wasn't and tells Dallas to go home. After that, Benji drives Ava home. She becomes awkward due to the tension from the party and the lingering emotions from her recent divorce. They basically talk about having sex, and then they have sex. The next morning, just as everything seems to be settling down, Ava goes downstairs to find Dallas eating Cheerios in her kitchen. Shocked, she demands to know why he's in her house. Dallas nonchalantly replies, "I decided to give you another chance." Ava, furious, tells him to get out of the house. Dallas mocks her and she stands her ground and showing her newfound strength. But Dallas refuses to leave, insisting that the house is his, even though he gave up the house. He runs upstairs declaring he's going to take a shower, but then sees Benji in bed. A fight breaks out between Dallas and Benji, and eventually Benji chokes Dallas, leaving him unconscious. Ava, with Benji's help, manages to drag Dallas's unconscious body down the stairs and out the front door. Benji picks him up and puts him in his pickup truck, and Ava slaps Dallas, telling him to get off her property. Later, we see Ronna arriving at the bank, and she finds Dallas sitting in his truck outside. She tells Jim, and Jim confronts him again, insisting that Ava was never cheating on him, that he should go home. Ava arrives and Ronna urges her to get a restraining order. Initially stubborn, Ava eventually decides to do it. Before he arrived at the bank, in a fit rage, we find out Dallas resorted to drastic measures. He went to Benji's farm and poisoned a bunch of his animals. The farm is near Ava's dad's house, and he is the first one to notice it. Benji tells him about Dallas stalking Ava earlier in the morning, and Ava's dad is angry and threatens to go to Atlanta to protect her. The story takes a darker turn when Dallas escalates his harassment. After confronting and grabbing on Ava's mom at the supermarket, he returns to town and brazenly walks into Ronna and Jim's house. As Ronna calls the police, Dallas taunts them, revealing that Jim cheated on her with someone named Kelly. However, Ronna already knows about Kelly, so the threat falls flat. Despite the tension, they manage to kick Dallas out, though not before he threatens to shoot Benji. The climax begins when Ava's father, the pastor, learns from someone that Dallas harassed his wife at the supermarket. Enraged, he decides to confront Dallas, declaring that he's going to kill him. Ava's mother, fearing the worst, frantically calls Ava, warning her that her father is on the way to the trailer park to confront Dallas. The pastor arrives at the trailer park and starts provoking Dallas's family, demanding that Dallas come out so he can shoot him. In the ensuing chaos, one of Dallas's brothers shoots Ava's dad in the leg, and the family brutally beats him until he passes out, nearly killing him. Ava and Benji arrives just in time to rescue her father and rushes him to the hospital. This becomes her breaking point. Now is your breaking point. Realizing how dangerous Dallas has become, especially after he harassed both of her parents and nearly killed her father, Ava decides to take drastic action. She calls Dallas and deliberately baits him by talking about how much she wants to be with Benji, even claiming that Benji is a better lover. This enrages Dallas to the point that he comes over and attacks her, leaving her with visible bruises. During the violent encounter, Dallas talks about his abusive father, who also beat his mother, which led Dallas to kill him. She then tells him that she now has the evidence she needs to prove he's an abusive husband and brings out her father's shotgun. Dallas dismisses her, saying she won't shoot him, but then she does, killing him. This movie abruptly ends as Ava's father recovers in the hospital. The Bertrand family shows up, but apparently it's because one of their other sons got shot. They try to intimidate Ava and her family, but Ava firmly tells them let it be over. She then walks out of the hospital, ending the story on an unsettling note. Whew. So, that's the story of Divorce in the Black. It's hot in here. So in the beginning of this video, I mentioned that Divorce in the Black's description was not true to itself at all. So I changed it up. Here's my rewritten version. After 20 years of marriage to her abusive husband Dallas, Corey Hardrict, Ava, a preacher's daughter and God-fearing woman, Megan Good, is shocked when he announces he's ending their marriage. Ava retreats to her childhood home, and her parents help her remember who she was before her life with Dallas. While Dallas prepares to make Ava's life a living hell, Ava is courted by Benji, Joseph Lee Anderson, Ava's longtime friend turned lover. Now you might be thinking, wow, Boomy, that's such a great description. You really nailed it. That's so crazy. Well, that's because I used Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman as a template, and also a little bit of Today.com. So here is Diary of a Mad Black Woman's description. After 18 years of marriage to lawyer Charles, Steve Harris, Helen Kimberly Elise is shocked when he announces he's ending their marriage and shacking up with Brenda, Lisa Marcos. Helen retreats to the house of her grandmother Medea, Tyler Perry, who helps her destroy much of Charles' property, earning her house arrest. While Charles prepares for the trial of a corrupt client, Helen is courted by Orlando, an affectionate, moving man with strong Christian values. Does it ring a bell or does it not? So now that we solved that issue, let's get into why Tyler Perry's Divorce in the Black doesn't work. Ugh, my back. I'm drinking this. I'm eating this. Ugh. Alright. Well, one, the story is redundant. Tyler Perry has done this before. It's no different than the other few movies I named earlier. The dialogue is the same.
And he's so much better than you.
The sex is so much better than you could ever imagine.
I tried to make you a man. You ain't shit.
Because you're weak. That's why I was with him. A man with money and success.
The characters are the same. Situations are the same.
You better get your ass out this truck, or I will drag your ass up out of here now. You done did enough.
You really want to know what you need to do? Get the hell out of my car.
Even the evil mother-in-laws are the same. But I will put this aside because what if someone has never watched a Tyler Perry film? How would they react to the storytelling? Well, that brings me to 2. The characters lack storytelling. The reason why this and the characters lack storytelling is because Ava and Dallas don't have a why. Why is Ava with Dallas? Why does she let him treat her poorly? Why does Ava feel the need to stay with him? Why does she love Dallas? Why does she get married to him? In the beginning of the film, Ava's parents talk about how they've never treated each other poorly. And her dad even asks her, what does that boy have to do for you to walk away? No one was ever physically or mentally abused in her parents' relationship, so why does Ava feel like she has to go through it? Ava says, you and Mama have taught me since I was a little girl to be a good wife, to stand by my husband, to stay in the marriage. But then her point collapses because her mom says, Ava, we ain't never been you and Dallas. So it's like... And then in another scene, Ava's friend Rona asks, why do you put up with it? And then Ava says, Rona, you don't know everything that he's been through. But the thing is, the film doesn't really talk about what Dallas has been through. He cries and says, oh, she made me kill my daddy one time, but that's barely explained in itself. And same thing with Dallas, right? Why is Dallas with Ava? Why is Dallas always mad at Ava? Why is he always drinking? Why did he kill his daddy? This film doesn't give the audience any background on why things are the way they are. It seems as if they have a character just say some dialogue and it's supposed to answer all of the questions that the audience has, when in reality, it just makes us ask more questions. In Diary of a Mad Black Woman, DMBW for short. According to the Tyler Perry fandom wiki, when Helen was in high school, she fell in love with Charles and they married right out of high school. Okay, so same as Divorce in the Black. Charles wanted to live the American dream and became a successful lawyer, while Helen supported him as a wife, so she was cooking and cleaning. Helen dealt with the stress of Charles throughout the years that they were married. She talks about how Charles became the way that he is and why she stayed with him. In the beginning of the film, she says, "Some days are good and I think he loves me. Then other days, I think he doesn't care." While Charles is getting an attorney award, he thanks Helen and says he couldn't have done any of this without his wife of 18 years, and they blow a kiss to each other. She has supported her husband and loved him unconditionally, but she noticed his behavior towards him change with every dime that he made at the firm. When they get home, Charles is very cruel to Helen. He tells her that he's staying late in the office tonight, and when she asks who is she, implying that he's been cheating on her, Charles tells her that when she starts paying bills, then she can start asking questions, and kicks her out his car. The morning after, she asks herself, "Tell me, why do I love that man so much? Maybe if I can stop thinking about how good things used to be, I might finally be able to find the strength to leave." Those scenes and these lines set the tone for the film. Us as the audience is not asking any questions because Helen just told us what the situation is. We just want to know what happens next in her story. I'm trying to sit straight, but I'm also in my bed, so it's kind of like, ooh, chilling time, and I'm like, oh, a video, I have to make this video. 3. The personalities and backgrounds of these characters do not make any sense. And I feel like it also ties back to point 2 as well. In Divorce in the Black, DIB for short, Ava and Dallas are pushing 40, but due to the circumstances being faced, it feels as if Ava should have never been in this relationship at all. I say that because this film never portrays Dallas as a good person. They barely give him qualities that he ever really liked Ava, so Ava has just been with a person who sucks for 20 years, and his family has sucked for 20 years. And your parents didn't raise you to like people who suck, and your friend never understood why you were with him, but you didn't listen to her at all. He also beat up one of your childhood friends and put him in the hospital before y'all got married. For 20 years, you were not happy. It just seems like everybody thought it was a terrible idea for you to get married to him. Like, nobody said, oh, this is cool. Even the mom did not like your wedding. I'm so what was the point? And then you stayed in the marriage for 20 years, and your parents didn't know that he was abusive to you for 20 years? It's just crazy because she has such a great relationship with her parents, And on the opposite end in DMBW, the reason why Helen stayed with Charles for 18 years was because she genuinely thought that he loved her, but she also had a lot to lose. She didn't have a lot of things because Charles isolated her from her friends and family. She was a housewife, so she didn't have a job, she didn't have any money. She was heartbroken emotionally because she had 2 miscarriages, and Helen's mom didn't grow fond of him when he convinced Helen to put her in a nursing home. All this because Charles made her feel like her life was going to be good because she was with him. He was a big money lawyer, he was selling her a dream. In one of the scenes, you could tell that Charles used to be a good person to Helen because when Helen finds out that her clothes are being replaced with designer ones, she thinks, oh my god, he remembered our anniversary. She thinks that he's doing something good for her after all these years, despite her feeling ignored and stressed out during their marriage. And to that point in DIB, Ava doesn't have much to lose. She has easy access to see her parents all the time. They have a great relationship. She can go to her job. She makes her own money. She hangs out with her best friend all the time, and they even work together at the bank. She's not alone, and she doesn't even isolate herself from people. We don't even know what job Dallas has. Come to think of it, we don't even know if he has a job. He said on one thing that he was going to work, but I don't know. He's just an angry baby. They never even show or explain why Dallas is always angry. He just hates Ava and her family. He and his family say, oh, you think you're better than us and you always want to change me? But there aren't any scenes that show that Ava's family thinks they're better. I mean, okay, aside from the funeral scene, because her daddy did say that her son was in hell, so it's
so that they would not wind up where he was. In hell.
Yes. I'll give him that one. But why did they stay together for 20 years? There's no glue keeping them together. Like, Dallas hasn't even done one good thing in this movie. He don't even smile. It's just bad. In DMBW, like, Charles at least makes things look good for the cameras. Like, for me, I just think that a 5-year marriage would have been fine. Like, it would have been good for her to suffice. Ava shouldn't have had to struggle for that long. It doesn't make any sense. 4. What is with the continuity? I actually like it right here. There are plenty of scenes where the actors will say something or react to something, and it goes nowhere. It doesn't do anything to the storyline. Point 1. There's a scene where Ava brings Dallas back home and he gets out of the bed crying in the bathroom and says, "She made me kill my daddy." And it's like, okay, who made you kill your daddy? Like, it kind of comes back in the final scenes, but we still don't understand why he killed his daddy and how it affected his upbringing, you know? 2. Ava talks to her best friend Rona, and Ava says they really did a number on Dallas. Okay, but still, what did they do to him that was so bad? Ava's like, every time something happens, he gives me a little more of what they did to him, and it's, girl is crazy. Okay, but can we, the audience, get a little more of what they did to him? Scene 3. So after Ava goes home to her parents with the news of the divorce, right? She goes for a run and thinks about the good that was her marriage. And this is a continuity problem because we start getting a montage of flashbacks that we, the audience, have never seen before they got a divorce or before he asked for a divorce. We see Dallas being nice, smiling. He's spinning Ava around. But if he was so nice, how come nobody but Ava remembers this? Like, everybody says he sucks, but how come she's the it doesn't, now I'm forced to think that she kind of conjured all of this up in her head, and everything that she thinks is true is not true. It doesn't make sense to show a before when you already shown the after, and you didn't even give us scenes of him being a nice person. Because if they gave us scenes of him being a nice person, then okay, we could be like, well, these montages do make sense because he was a good person. But he was never a good person. I was just like, what? I don't know. 4. Ava comes into the office to sign divorce papers, and the lawyer asks her, "Are you sure you don't want any counsel looking at this?" And he's really asking too, he asks so many times. And Ava says that she read it already, and then after she signs it, Dallas smiles, and it makes the audience think, oh my god, did he put something in the divorce papers? Did he change something? What's the problem? Well, no. He didn't, nothing happened. Nothing bad happened at all. She signs the papers, they both agree, and they both get what they asked for. So what was the point? I don't... 5. And this one, I did have a problem with this one. The reason why is because Dallas goes all the way to Rona and Jim's house and see them with Ava and Benji all together drinking and talking, right? He gets riled up and gets mad at Jim, so he mentions a girl named Kelly, implying that Jim has cheated on Rona. And Rona says she already knows about Kelly, so since she knows Jim cheated once, it doesn't do anything to the storyline. And after Ava and Benji leave, Rona and Jim, have a small talk, and she's already frustrated. And he's just like, "Are you okay?" And she's just like, it doesn't make me feel good that people bring it up. And then, that's that. And then they cut to the next scene. And it's okay, without that, the movie would have still been the movie without that. We could have left that out because it doesn't really focus on anything important. And I think I'm upset with this one because they don't even use Rona and Jim as a B story, because they're still just side characters, them adding whatever they needed to talk about Kelly. Like, it's like, okay, Kelly, I guess. Like, who cares about Kelly? So in DMVW, characters Brian and Deborah were used as a B story. They were first introduced as side characters to the audience, but because they were in many scenes with Helen and Medea, an alternate storyline was created. You see, Brian and Deborah are married and have 2 kids together. Brian is the family lawyer, and Deborah was a choir singer who became a drug addict. So we kicked her out. We were introduced to Deborah when Helen slept over Medea's house, and Deborah came to get some food. They talked for a bit, but before Helen could really ask any questions about Deborah's well-being, Deborah rushed out of there. Then we meet Brian when Helen and Medea go to court for trespassing. Brian is Helen's relative and also Medea's nephew. So I guess after court, Medea hosts a house party, and that gives us a chance to see Helen and Brian talk about what's going on in their lives. Now, this helps us set up a storyline for Brian and Deborah because of the bits and pieces that the audience were allowed to be shown. They set up the storyline and then at the end resolve the storyline. Like, you see the comparison in how these characters are explored? In DIB, these are continuity issues because nothing continues and nothing gets resolved. A lot of these things were put in the film to make it interesting. But if you don't do anything with it, then the story is no longer interesting. Now you have a broken story, and there are questions that need to be answered. Lastly, 5, the background actors. When watching DIB, I had a problem with the background actors not doing anything. Dallas repeatedly stalks Ava, and, her neighbors don't say anything. Does she even got neighbors? I don't even know. Dallas goes up to her job at the bank, and security doesn't do anything. Dallas harasses and yells at Ava's mom in the grocery stores. He literally grabs her, and you see this lady literally staring at them right in front of them, and she just staring. She just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, she doesn't even call for help. She's just looking. What's the point of being in a setting where people are, or people should be, right? If you're not going to use people to make the scene make sense. The only time somebody stepped in was the owner of the bar, right? And in the beginning, when Ava is trying to get Dallas to come home, he got his whole shotgun out, everything. And I'm just like, yeah, like you are disturbing the peace. But that shouldn't be the only background character to convey that the Bertrand boys are like terrible people. Where are the cops? Why don't we see any call to action? I myself is asking, why isn't anybody doing anything? In DMBW, when there's a scene that calls for a background actor, it's done. I don't even think there's a scene that when someone's doing something bad, no one is not doing anything. Even at the end, there's a scene where Helen's trying to look for Orlando at his job. She goes into the steel factory where he work at, and one of the workers is yelling at Helen saying, hey lady, this place is dangerous. You can't be here. I gotta ask you to leave. Like a normal person who works at a steel factory would. It seems like in DIB, the background actors are like Sims when you turn off their autonomy. So those are all of my points. And I didn't drink more wine. Ugh. This is really good. So now that we finished all the compare and contrast, what do I think? I think that we've been subjected to a lot of surprise factors from Tyler Perry. I think that he is leaning more towards entertainment than actual storytelling. I think that it's easier to go mainstream than to make something genuine these days. I think that it's because Tyler Perry's also a Virgo. I think that because Tyler Perry has been writing for a very long time, that he might not feel the need to have anyone else pitch ideas because he has all the ideas. He's the person who, because of his ideas, became famous. He's the one that you're supposed to go to for the ideas, so it makes sense that no one else is like writing. He's the one who made it to stardom despite everything that happened in his past. And I can applaud him for that. I am proud of him for doing what not a lot of people were able to do. I'm proud of him for achieving dreams that is very hard to achieve. Growing up, Tyler Perry's movies and plays helped me understand what should and shouldn't be happening in a relationship, what is and what isn't acceptable when it comes to people, like how to show kindness. Mind you, I'm only 6. But when you get older, with every year and with every watch, these movies stay with you, especially when for a lot of Black people, this is a classic movie, this and Family Reunion. All that being said, now we live in a new era where, with time, everything shifts. Storytelling shifts and becomes something different. I don't know what happened in Tyler Perry's life. I don't know why most of the stories that he creates focuses on a Black woman being wronged or feeling like she doesn't have a voice. I don't know. And if my critiques are highbrow, then it'll just have to be it. Even though that's crazy, because Tyler Perry, you are the one that's the billionaire million. I can't be, you have the money. And I think that instead of looking at it as being the only guy who has the good ideas, you should look at it as a lot of these writers are trying to get out of the place that you used to be in. This is their chance to achieve what you have. I'm sure there are so many people, so many writers, especially Black ones, who just dream to step on a set, who even dream to be in the room, to sit at the table. I mean, look, I got some ideas that Tyler could invest in. Just saying. How about this? I wrote this down, right? Tyler should give $200,000 to a team of writers and filmmakers to create something for him, just to see what happens. Or maybe he should start a program that helps film and TV students or people in their 20s, you know, me, create short films with given prompts and maybe give them some tools and advisors to help them with that, you know, that gives them a chance to show their skills. And I'm sure a lot of people would be grateful for the experience and opportunity. Like, what? In conclusion, I think we can all agree that Tyler Perry films have taken a decline. The reason why I compared his first ever movie to his recent one is because they're basically the same movie, until the movie takes a dark mea culpa turn, because Dallas went from regular evil to psychopathic evil. Like, the character development for him was just so bad. I don't even want to touch on that. Oh my god. But the thing is, like, Diary of a Mad Black Woman has soul, like great storytelling, and it just makes you feel something. Another reason why I compare this film is because we who have seen Tyler Perry's films in the past, and we see, like, you know, the now films, it's like, no, we know he knows how to make better things. Like, there's no way that he made that film from a long time ago and then he made this one. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. We know that he's capable of making great films, and not just films that instead of it being great, he relies on a surprise factor to keep us briefly entertained. And I truly think he could do it. Like, I truly do. But maybe I'm just running on faith, and maybe I shouldn't even bother. In the words of Helen, why do I care about that man's movie so much? Maybe if I could stop thinking about how good things used to be, I might finally be able to have the strength to leave. If you liked this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram. I also make music, so yeah. And comment down below your thoughts, you know, whether it's about Divorce in the Black, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, or just talk about your day. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Tyler really got me reviewing Divorce in the Black.